Hello, my fellow Americans. I'm in Ukraine right now, and my friend in the United States, Yuri Tabach, and the lawyer, Boris Polan, they collect things for Ukraine and they ship them here, and they're very quiet, they're not big about it. And one time, one of my buddies' soldiers lost glasses, and they break, they lose them. It's a combat situation. And I asked him if he had a pair. And he introduced me to this great man that I found out, Kevin COHEN. Knижник.
Knижник is my call sign. Everyone has a call sign here.
Right.
They're quite official.
Right. So Kevin, I've learned, is an American who came here in the beginning of a war and volunteered. Then I find out that Kevin is also a shipmate. He served in the Navy for what, 9.5 years as a corpsman, HM1. That's an E6.
E6,
right?
yeah.
E6, and he came here, and all these things are being supplied to him by Yuri Tabach, and he takes it to the front and he supplies them to the soldiers. But better yet, today is the anniversary of my father's death. 10 years as my father passed away, and I'm going to a synagogue to say a prayer for my father, soul, a Kaddish. And I find out that Kevin is actually went to yeshiva, and he's actually knows how to do it. So I'm going to be honored with him to say Kaddish for my father, in memory of my father. And he's not only fellow American, fellow sailor. He's also a fellow tough Jew who does not just sit there and ignore and watch what is being done to a nation, to people, what not so long ago was done to our people. And he's not going to just sit here and watch. And we've talked a lot about it, a lot of emotional things. But Kevin, why did you do it? What is it that you and Ukrainians have in common? Why would you come here and live here like a Spartan and go out in the field and find a body on the field while there was shelling? This little dog, Zuzuk, jumped into his arms and still with him. Where is Zuzuk? Zuzuk.
Zuzuk often is underneath things.
There is Zuzuk.
He knows where it's safe.
Okay, Kevin, you got to speak louder so they can
I think the more interesting question is, why did I stay here?
Why did you stay?
I came for the first time in May of 2022 and went to Severodonetsk and Lysychansk to evacuate civilians. And my first mission of 3 days, 2 times while I was at the refugee collection point, the Russians shelled it. You know how to tell what artillery is looking for. Artillery, by definition, is called indirect fire. This means that artillery does not see what it's shooting at. So it usually misses, and then it comes closer and closer and closer.
That's a Russian type of artillery. we try to hit the targets. But
I have so much I can say about that, actually. So you can tell from the sound that a shell makes how close it is coming to you. So when you hear shells over there, and then they come closer and closer, and when they're on top of you, they stay there, that's how you know they're shooting at you. And when you are in a refugee collection center, and that's what they're shooting at, you cannot turn your back on that.
Right.
You cannot walk away. My grandfather was from Bohuslav. It's a town about 2 hours south of Kyiv. It was known for tough Jews.
You're one of the tough Jews.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I will tell you the most Jewish thing about me. I don't care what people think. I don't care what they believe. I care what they do. I care about actions. And that's a very...
Very often I fight.
It's very Jewish.
Very often I fight with Ukraine saying, don't listen to what they say. See what they do. See what our president does, not what he says. Not the one, this one, not the one previous one, not the ones. They say one thing, but watch what they do. And this is how we judge people, what they do. So
that's what's important to me.
Tell us what's in here. Tell us what you get to the front.
I primarily distribute medical supplies. I also distribute what I see the guys need when I'm at the front. And so what we're seeing here is a combination of medical supplies and an infantry care package. So your friend asked for a backpack, and you'll see I wrote in it, від ваших друзів в США.
From your friends in USA.
США любить Україну.
Yes.
Because
United States loves Ukraine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want the recipient to know nothing came from a government warehouse. Everything came from a person who's thinking about you, cares about you, and did something about that. Right? So, first, we have tourniquets. Tourniquets, unfortunately, are consumables. They get used, and then you need more. So if you wonder why 4 years into the war, we're still distributing tourniquets, this is why. Cold injuries, injuries from cold weather are horrific. They're easier to prevent than to cure. This is a solid pair of winter gloves.
Thermal socks.
In the infantry, your socks are your safety. Lots of gloves. Cold and moisture injuries to your feet are a big problem. So, Zaказывайте. This is foot protection. This waterproofs your shoes. I also have stuff to spray inside to keep them drier. Tourniquet cases, because if you cannot find a tourniquet when you need it, you don't have a tourniquet. These are United States Marine Corps surplus. They were probably in Iraq, and the boys love that. Foot warmers, being out in the cold with cold hands and feet is pretty miserable. Warm hats. If you give 12 of the same thing, the guys don't know whose is whose, right? So I make sure to give a selection of colors, of sizes. Nobody needs to know this, but Ukrainian MREs,
Like MREs.
they could be better. They could be better.
Well, I can tell you, Russian MREs are even worse.
I'm sure they are. I will tell you, when I was in the Navy, we ate Sriracha.
That's what I did.
It came in a can. Remember the tuna and cheese was disgusting.
Ham and eggs. I always played the Jewish card. I can't eat ham and eggs.
Oh my God, that stuff. When MREs first came out, we thought it was the best thing in the world. So, freeze-dried food, сухпайки, communication. Communication is your life.
Right.
And communication runs off of batteries, just like your flashlight. So batteries, chargers, power banks, a cord, attaching things to other things. It's a huge part of repairs. So some paracord and some zip ties. I will tell you, I have studied Ukrainian for 4 years and I don't know how to say zip tie.
Same thing, zip tie.
If someone can tell me, I would be appreciative. I want to keep your eyes safe. Earlier in the war, I worked in a mobile intensive care unit quite a bit. And I learned what does it look like if you've been near a shrapnel explosion. It looks like someone took a pepper shaker and shook pepper all over your face, right?
Little dots.
When you see the guy who looks like pepper everywhere but around his eyes, he was wearing a pair of ballistic glasses.
Right.
And sometimes you see the guys, you can see where the explosion just, boom, smacked their glasses into their face. You see the outline around their eyes. Now, if you have an eye injury, I cannot get you to a surgeon quick enough to fix that. US $22 to $25 pair of ballistic glasses. And you'll see they all say, Броня для твоих очей. Body armor for your eyes. I want to keep your mind a little bit healthy too. And I have some things to address that issue. A friend made these. These are basically biscotti, but formulated for high energy, like a bantonchik, like a power bar. And you can see there's a little anti-stress doll, and it says anti-stress. And I always throw in some books too. If the guys don't have books, it's just TikTok and Instagram.
That's what
you go crazy in the end, I think. So always.
You're old school. You still think people read books?
They do. It's amazing to me. Sometimes volunteer organizations will send a box of books, and I always think, oh, these kids aren't going to care. And they come clustering around, and they go through the boxes and pick what they want. And I always have pictures, letters from donors. Some of Yura and Boris's fans have sent me letters.
Right.
One of them, she sent me at the beginning of the war, and I couldn't read it. It was in Ukrainian. And a couple of years later, I'd learned enough Ukrainian to understand it. And I was sitting in line in an office at that time, waiting for my turn. And it was bad time. Friends had been killed on an evacuation mission. And I was reading her letter. Tears were running down my face. And then there was a puddle on the floor, and I ended up in a corner sobbing and had to go outside, you know? But it was from the beauty of what this woman wrote.
Right.
It was from the beauty of what she wrote. And imagine you're the guy in the trench, and you get that letter, you know? Охрия сердце. Warms your heart. So always I have pictures and letters. This is one Ukrainian soldier and 3 American veterans. My next door neighbor, Johan, and they all have a little note on the back. This guy I served with, oh boy. Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, and later in Bakhmut. A little note, hello from an American veteran. These gorgeous young ladies are from Kharkiv in the United States for a very long time. They remember Ukraine, they support Ukraine. So that's how we try to support the guys.
So how many of those packs do you get? Out? Different times, right? Depends.
Yeah. So these go out constantly. I have 2 units that I very regularly support. One of them is called Zelle, Angry Birds. That is the most innovative drone unit in Ukraine. The guy who created it is a Yid who, in uniform, wears his yarmulke and his tzitzis. And the other is an infantry group, infantry unit. And then any requests that come in, I will support them. This year, I will distribute one per month big specialized backpack for a corpsman, for a combat medic. My goal is 400 tourniquets, 1,200 pill packs, and for my birthday this year, I requested ballistic glasses, and they're still coming in by the boxful. So a lot of these will go out. It's a constant thing. Comes in, goes out. Comes in, goes out.
It says here, for a soldier, the soldat.
Boot dryers.
Okay, so, but Kevin, as we were saying, here, let's show which units you're with. There's Kevin's thing here. You come on in here. Come, show the units. Here are the units that Kevin is with. We can see. Come closer so you can show the please.
This is Ukrainska Dobrovolcha Armia.
The Ukrainian Volunteer Army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Battalion Hospitaliere, the Hospitalers Medical.
United States Navy. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. This is the Jewish unit.
Yes. Angry Birds.
This is the Jewish unit.
Ukraina in Hebrew. Ukraine in Hebrew. This was run by a Marine. It's a training group. I worked with them. Marines and Navy corpsmen, medics, have a special relationship. I love to work with Marines because I know they will take care of me.
Hoorah!
Hoorah!
Semper Fi, brothers.
This is my other battalion, and this is Zhuzhik's battalion.
Zhuzhik battalion.
Tretий battalion, Volyn.
You can speak English, it's for Americans.
Mostly mortarmen, including Zhuzhik, and you will notice his body is shaped like a 120 millimeter mortar shell. It's very big here.
Well,
it's very skinny there.
I really in appreciation of what you're doing here, because you could be in Miami with me on the beach, you could be in New York going to the shul every day, but you chose to protect the people and fight for them, regardless who they are, where they are. You fight for those who can't fight for themselves, and I'd like to present in our tradition.
It's an honor, sir. Thank you very much, Captain.
It's an honor. It's an honor, first class, Corpsman, to meet you here and the things you do. And now, I guess,
it's a real pleasure.
But like you said, it's one thing to say things, but you're also save lives. You actually go out in the field and provide medical care, and you also train medics. Mm-hmm. So, like we said before, saying one thing, but doing another thing. Can you show us so people can see how to use a tourniquet, those modern day tourniquets?
I would love to.
So let's do it. We're gonna have an in-service training. Here's a tourniquet. Oh, you have one on you.
I always have on me an aptechka, a first aid kit. And the reason is that the Russians attack everywhere. They attack cities. The last time I looked, the count of medical facilities attacked by the Russians was over 2,000. And I will tell you this. In the beginning of the war, we used to wonder, are they that bad? Or are they just really bad shots? I told you how you know when they're coming for you. I told you about being 2 times at the refugee collection point in Lysychansk when I heard the artillery come in on us and stay on us. And here's the thing.
Carpet bombing.
So, you're a scientist. You know statistics. There's two kinds of distributions of data. What's called a normal distribution is what we think of as an average. Most things in war are not normally distributed. They're what's called non-parametric distributions. Now, if you were going to miss a target and hit something by accident, that will have a normal distribution. It's called an error distribution. If you are over and over and over and over again hitting medical facilities, hitting shopping centers, hitting apartment buildings, that's not an accident.
No, of course not.
That is not an accident. It's on purpose. Now think about this. We are here in Kyiv right now, where it happens, I have no power in my apartment because the Russians have been taking out transformer stations. Now, you have probably seen a transformer station. They're not very big. Would you believe that they suddenly become very accurate when they're shooting at transformers, but when they hit hospitals, it's an accident? That makes no sense.
No, of course not. And this is what our president is insisting on, is to stop bombing the infrastructure that harms civilian people and committing a war crimes, because this is, in a sense, it's a war crime. And this
is a war crime. There's no innocence. It is a war crime.
And this is what the President Trump is saying. First, we got to do is please make first step and stop bombing the civilian targets. And then we can continue to have a conversation and come to some sort. But first, has to stop bombing because people are freezing. And the next thing is going to be disease spreading because there's no water, no sewage, and all kinds of injuries. So, to continue to say that this pack is going to go to a buddy of mine whom I've known for many, many years, a paratrooper, Ukrainian paratrooper, and it's going to go to a volunteer battalion, to their medic. So thank you, Yura, thank you, Boris. There's going to be a site if people want to help them, because you can see, we keep an account, Kevin keeps an accounting of everything that goes out, so there is no hanky-panky going on here. And this is going to go to Andre, call sign Irlandets, to his volunteer battalion. Irlandets, yeah. Because he has an Irish citizenship, but he could be in Ireland working, but he has been at the front and fighting from day one, since actually 2014. So, Andre, this is for you, buddy. So let's see.
Can I add something?
Sure. You
can bring that back, please.
Where's the last you got?
Everything that I send out is labeled in some way, typically saying "Vid ваших друзів," from your friends.
From your friends, yeah.
And as a result, as I travel around the different areas of the front, I see my stuff. Now, I started doing this 4 years ago. So imagine what it feels like to see stuff is still out there 4 years later. Now, Russian propaganda will talk about corruption in Ukraine.
That's right.
You want to know how I know my stuff is where it should be? Because I go there and I see these over. It's the most wonderful.
On this level, there is no corruption at this level. I can tell you too. I can see all the things that I've given to people. They actually cherish it because it came from the United States. It came from the military buddies across the ocean, because we feel their pain. We understand how hard they fight, and they're hard fighters. And one day this war is going to be over. And we be celebrating. So Kevin, show us how to use a tourniquet.
So, I always have my uptouch stuff because the Russians attack everywhere and anywhere. And in it I have a couple of tourniquets. My tourniquets always go out in the case because If you can't find it when you need it, you don't really have it. You should take off your jacket. So we're going to do this the Navy way. I will tell you and I will show you. Then you will tell me and I will show you. And then you will do it.
Okay.
So, working parts of a tourniquet, the strap, is what will obstruct the blood flow when it gets tight.
Don't make it hurt.
Ow! So the trick, actually, to making a tourniquet tight is the starting.
Right.
If you get it tight from the strap, it will tighten very quickly. So if you're putting it on someone else, one hand on the buckle and pull and push in. And then when you attach the Velcro, already it's pretty close to tight enough. So you twist this until the bleeding stops. And we have people chant that over and over in training. If you do it right, actually, it hurts. So that goes in there. This goes in there, and then we have a strap to mess with. So we'll take this off quickly, and you will see why we have painkillers in our pill packs.
So how above the wound, above the bleeding it should be?
So in combat conditions, you want it as high as it will go. Tourniquets only go on extremities, on arms and on legs. So on your arm, it will go right here, and on your leg, it will go right here.
So
as
then,
high as you can get.
But then an amputations are too high.
So later, we will reposition it. There's one of the issues in combat is that we wear heavy uniforms and you don't typically see where the blood is. You don't see the classic sign of arterial bleeding. We all know if you see bright red blood,
It's arterial.
pulse it'll flow. But underneath my uniform pants, you won't see that. It stops it.
Right.
And you don't have time in combat
To cut it.
to cut the clothes off and find it. So as high as possible here or here, and later when we can cut your clothes off, then we will adjust the position.
All right, but also you need to mark the time.
You need to mark the time, and so there's a strap on here, and that's where we will mark the time.
That you mark the time so people know, the medics, the corpsmen know how long you had that tourniquet on, because otherwise the gangrene can set in, and also
Exactly.
they gotta loosen it up a little bit. So, well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
now we're gonna go into flag signing. And again, Kevin is unfortunately or fortunately departs for rotation tomorrow. So we will not celebrate, he'll be celebrating Purim out on the field, and he'll already be in the costume of a fighter, of a soldier. Thank you, Kevin. It's an honor.
An honor for me.
It's an honor, and I salute you for everything that you do.
Thank you. Let me grab one so I can show you.
So I'm going to be actually practicing pharmacy right now. So Mr. Fagan, Mark Fagan, can see that I do what I was educated to do. Although we're going to put, and this is what Kevin does, of course. I'm not doing it all the time, but Kevin does this all the time. He's an HM1, a Navy corpsman, and he puts all those packs together of medicine, and he'll tell us what it's for.
This is called a pill pack. It contains 2 pain relievers and an antibiotic. And anytime you have a wound that breaks your skin, you open it up and take everything in it, provided you're
Just
not
the whole
allergic.
thing, the whole
Yes.
compote, the whole.
The whole thing, the whole compote. We check before we give it to you to make sure you don't have allergies to any of these things, which is acetaminophen, moxifloxacin, and meloxicam.
Okay, so moxifloxacin is probably an antibiotic, right?
Antibiotic,
So the
meloxicam.
meloxicam is, I don't know what that
It's a painkiller.
It's a painkiller. And paracetamol, it's probably like Tylenol.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So you see,
Yes.
I remember.
Anytime
Solid C pharmacist.
anytime you have a wound that breaks your skin, you take everything in the pill pack. I have taken mine 3 times. One time it was really funny. I was evacuating a little old lady outside of Bakhmut. She would not leave without her cat. So I caught her cat, no problem. The cat then buried one of his fangs into my forearm to the gun line. And I'm sure the lady thought I was crazy because I was standing there with a cat hanging from my arm, laughing hysterically. You have to understand, what used to be the windows were covered with plywood.
Sure.
There are no windows left in an area like that.
Sure.
So there's plywood over the windows, and the shells are falling close enough to the house that every time the plywood rattles, right? And here I am with a cat hanging from my arm. Of course I had to laugh. It was the first
but
time.
you saved the cat and
And the little old lady.
and deserved the Purple Heart for it.
Well, I will tell you, sometimes that time it was funny, sometimes it's not.
Not so funny. What is this for?
This is another holder for the pills.
Oh, for the pills.
Yes.
Okay.
One time I took my pill pack because we went to a headquarters building that had just been bombed. And we knew 18 guys were in the basement. And so we were, with our bare hands, trying to dig these guys out. And I stepped on a piece of metal. It went right through my shoe.
Tetanus shot.
I had to take my... If you go to a war and you don't have vaccinations, you are a fool.
Yeah.
I had my tetanus shot.
I had also
all my
so many
vaccines.
vaccinations that it's
But
crazy.
that was not so funny. It's the worst 23 hours of my war. And I remember when they brought the first corpse out, it was a woman. And I think the most beautiful sound in the world is a woman laughing, okay? I don't know what the opposite is, but maybe it was the guys crying when they carried her out. You know? So, everyone needs a pill pack.
All right, let me practice my. So we take a pill out.
All right. Now we have some choices here. Americans favor these a plastic bag because that's what we have. If you see a Ukrainian guy with a pill pack, it'll probably be something like this. It looks like a little test tube, and you can see everything has its expiration date and a American flag
in there.
with the white and red stripes going to yellow and blue. So we are together.
Wow.
So,
All right, so we do it the more traditional and expensive way, or American and the cheaper way?
let's do it the American
Let's
way.
do the
'cause
American. We're
it's-
Americans. We do it the American.
Yeah. So,
The job would appreciate that because we're doing it very economically, but just as effective.
we have, yes, the cost depends on what I can find the medication for. Part of the challenge of doing this as in Ukraine versus in the US Navy is that you have, any pharmacy will only have a very small stock. So where this starts is I go from pharmacy to pharmacy buying all of their moxifloxacin and meloxicam. And then everything has a different expiration date. So I go through my boxes and I figure out how to optimize the expiration dates for the minimum amount of waste.
Well, we have a pharmacy friend here who maybe be able to help you, but also my pharmacy buddies in the United States, you know what to do and how to help Kevin. So
we check over and over. I always have my boxes, and I know which each thing is. And when I'm done, I will count the number of packs that I have, and I know how many pills I plan to put in them.
Right.
So I have check, double check, all the way down the line.
And there's, of course, expiration dates.
Yeah. So we're going to take our things and we're going to...
By the way, as a pharmacist, I can tell you this thing. Here's an expiration date, right? 6/27. What does that mean? That after that date, this medicine is not good? No, it's still good. It means by law that after that date, you cannot dispense that medicine any longer. But it is actually good for a year, at least for a year. So after the expiration date, you can take the medicine for a year and it works just fine. It does not mean that you need to throw it out. Now, if you're a pharmacist and you're in a pharmacy, then you can't dispense it anymore. You got to send it back or dispose of it correctly, not into the sewage, so or to the river or into anything that then fish. Okay, so
this is absolutely correct. And when I say I optimize my expiration dates, that goes into account in figuring them out. So for example, the moxifloxacin I have here is what will expire first in June of 27. So if you look at my pill packs, what I have written for the expiration date is June of 28.
The earliest, right. So they can take it until that
It's the one
date.
that will be 1 year past that date, the soonest out of the
All right,
three.
you passed the pharmacokinetic exam then.
You know, the nice thing about being a Navy corpsman is before you go out and do the sexy stuff with the blood and the screaming, you learn the basic medical stuff.
Sure.
I still remember first lesson in hospital corpsman school, don't run in a hospital. It will never help.
It doesn't set it. In a hospital, you shouldn't be running in a hospital or in the Pentagon, because it's not a great confidence builder.
So
people panic.
You have an amazing personal history. I don't know how many people know that you trained as a pharmacist.
A lot of people know.
Well, when I found that out, I thought, I can't believe this, a professional to check my work. This is wonderful.
You passed.
So thank you for coming here and doing it.
Thank you for you doing this stuff.
I cannot
And I
wait.
really appreciate it because you didn't see this. This was before. The first thing that the good old corpsman said is we have to go and wash our hands before we do this. So everything we're touching, our hands are washed.
Your tax dollars paid for excellent training for me. And because it was excellent training, it has stuck for years. I got out of the Navy almost 40 years ago. Something you don't forget.
It goes by quickly. So that's it. And then we're going to go through the whole medical pack, through this pack that Kevin put together by volunteers, and he's going to be taking it to the front with him tomorrow. So
Tomorrow morning.
thank you.
This is my personal flag for Yuri to sign. You'll notice that it was signed in Mandarin. This is from
Hebrew.
This is a tzedek tzedek tirgov. It's the thing I think the most in my head here. It means justice. Justice you shall pursue. And what else are we asking for here? Justice.
Justice is a good thing to fight for. Justice for everyone.
Let me tell you about this one.
Okay.
So I met a Taiwanese soldier once.
Speak louder.
I met a Taiwanese soldier once, and I wanted to know is he really Chinese? Yeah, Taiwanese, or is he from PRC? So I asked him to sign my flag. Now, Mandarin is written differently in mainland China and in Taiwan. They use older forms of the characters before the writing reform in Taiwan. And one of my professors in graduate school is an expert on Chinese, among other things. So I sent her a photo and I asked her, is this guy Taiwanese? And she wrote back and she said, I can tell in two ways. One is by the characters that he uses, and the other is that he calls you uncle, like a term of respect, and he uses the Taiwanese family term.
Fine. Good. Well, let me sign it then for you.
Please.
To shipmate Kevin, petty officer first class.
Me.
You were a corpsman, right?
I was, yeah. HM1.
No. Okay. So maybe I'm doing it backwards. Outstanding.
Thank you. This one will go to some very kind donor.
To where?
To a donor.
To donor. Okay. We'll cut.
Кирилл, у тебя один такой?
Что?
Один такой флаг? Или еще
Is
есть?
this the only one you have?
не, больше. Ты хочешь? Хочешь у меня?
Я хочу...
Окей, супер.
Okay.
Не буду.
Okay, so tell us the story.
When I first came to Ukraine, I went to Polygon to boot camp with a Pravi sector unit. My commander is one of the few soldiers in Ukraine who, in uniform, wears a yarmulke and tzitzis.
What's his name?
His name is Ilya Shvoyansky.
Ilya Shvoyansky,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
There were a few
yeah.
of them. There was also Natan Hazin, who presented me with the same flag. The Americans don't know, it's a nationalist flag that's very often claimed history that it was very anti-Semitic, but in reality, they're not. They're fighting for the same thing as like Zionists fight. They fight for the self-identification, for genesis of their country. So they're very similar, and in camps, in the Soviet camps, the Zionists and these nationalists were very similar. They stuck together because they had the same ideology. Yes.
This is the flag of Pravi sector, the right sector. When the political arm of right sector, the leader of the political arm was a Jewish guy. And I feel extremely at home in Pravi sector. And it's always funny to me to be sitting around talking with other folks in the battalion, and you say something about being Jewish, and they say, "Oh, I didn't know you were Jewish. I'm Jewish too."
Yeah, same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Very often it happened to me. So let's.
I love this. One of the things that we have to fight against is that the penetration of Russian disinformation
Absolutely.
is very, very deep.
And they're they're winning.
Very good at it.
And they're winning at that.
They've had a lot of practice since at least the 1930s. The Russians have
Oh
used
no, they've done it before. They've done it since Ivan the Terrible.
I only give the dates that I know about. Only what I can back up.
They've done that
And,
for many years.
Yeah, I think it's good to get truth out there.
Good.
Ja, ich bin ein Schülerbacher gewesen. Ich war Soldat ukrainской добровольчей армии.
As a matter of fact, today is my father death anniversary. So if you can say,
We will say
Kaddish,
Kaddish.
that'll be
Absolutely.
a great honor. Today is
Whenever.
yeah. Today is the date, the Jewish date, my father's 10th anniversary of his passing, and my father was a great Jew and a great patriot.
Whenever I'm at the memorial downtown, I say Kaddish for my American brothers who have fallen here, Kaddish for the guys in my own battalion who have fallen here.
Okay. You want me to sign?
Yes, please.
So we're going to please say the Kaddish for my father.
Okay. What was his name?
Zinovi. Zalman.
Zecher Nishma Zalman. Memory of Zalman. Yiskadav, Yiskadash, Mirabah. Gamad Ibrahim, Asif, Yamlich, Malchusay, Bachaychon, Aviamechon, Uchay, the whole base Israel, Bagolav, Yisma, Kariv, Yiru, Amen. Yehesh, Mirabah, Marach, Nalam, Olame, Olaya, Yisbrach, Vishtabach, Yisbar, Yisraman, Yisnasay, Yisnadar, Yisalev, Yisalal, Shmid, Kursha, Richu.
Amen.
Ve'elam Yikol Berchasa, V'shirasa, Tushbachasa, V'nechamasa, Damiran, V'alav, Yimru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shalom Rabba, Mitzvah Aling, Alinu Val Kol Yisrael, Yimru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh Shalom, Yimru Malav, Huyaseh Shalom, Alinu Val Kol Yisrael, Yimru Amen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's an honor. It's an honor. I'm sure my father is watching after you.
Here's a mind.
He was a
Here's a mind booth.
Thank you.